This is all about Bitcoin, a show dedicated to all things questions and markets related to Bitcoin, little b for the currency, and Bitcoin, big B for the network. A collective journey to understand, apply, and use this innovation, all Bitcoin, all the time. And I'm your host, Christine Lee. Let's have a live look at Bitcoin. The CoinDesk Bitcoin price XBX index is trading at $46,431. Bitcoin is slightly up, almost 25 basis points over the past 24 hours. The most reliable reference prices for institutions since 2014 are now published under the CoinDesk brand, trusted globally as the leader in crypto news, events, and data.
The chart of the day is brought to you by Crypto.com, the world's fastest growing crypto app.
So Bitcoin is holding support above $42,000 and could face resistance near $50,000 as short-term momentum behind the short squeeze rally fades. CoinDesk's Dominic Dantes writing, the short-term uptrend remains intact despite several overbought pullbacks that was resolved to the upside. Despite Bitcoin's rally, investors redeemed over $22 million from crypto funds last week, as seen in this chart here. It's the sixth consecutive week of outflows as seen from this chart. It's the longest streak of outflows since January of 2018, according to a CoinShares report. CoinShares noting that the fund outflows come amid low trading volumes overall that may be seasonal. We are in the summer vacation season. Meanwhile, the overall crypto market is topping $2 trillion for the first time since May amid that climb in crypto prices. All right, taking a look at our top stories. Ratings agency Fitch warning El Salvador's Bitcoin adoption will be negative for local insurance companies with exposure to BTC due to higher foreign exchange and earnings volatility risk. The agency is stressing that it does not expect Bitcoin to be widely used by insurers to make claims or benefit payments, nor to offer policies denominated in the digital currency. El Salvador will formally adopt Bitcoin as legal tender on September the 7th. And Twitter announcing crypto developer Jay Graber will lead its efforts to create a decentralized social media protocol. Graber, who previously contributed to privacy coin project Zcash, announced the news on Twitter, saying she'll be leading Blue Sky. Follow updates on Twitter and at blueskyweb.org. And by contrast, Walmart posting a job opening for a digital currency and cryptocurrency product lead. The retail giant has long experimented with using blockchain for non-financial means like tracking drugs and food along the supply chain. And finally, I know there's some die-hard Bitcoiners out there, but do you believe in Bitcoin so much that you would sell all your worldly possessions for it and trade them in for BTC? Well, my next guest did just that. In 2017, when Bitcoin was worth about $900, Didi Taihutu, his wife, and 3 kids sold their house, cars, clothes, everything in the Netherlands for Bitcoin. Now they travel the world, living the digital nomad lifestyle as their Bitcoin stash grows in value. So welcome, Didi and family. Welcome to the show. All right. So, I mean, you must be quite content with what many back in 2017 would have considered a very risky bet, seeing as how Bitcoin has climbed a bit since the $900 level you purchased it at.
Yeah, hi. First of all, thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, of course, it's beautiful. You know, we always thought Bitcoin would go up, and we always said, let's see what happens till 2021, and see if Bitcoin then can reach to 100K. And at the moment, we are perfectly in line with what we expected at that time. For almost 5 years ago now, when we started to travel the world in a minimalistic lifestyle to hodl as much as possible Bitcoins during those 5 years.
So I am curious, how did you, I understand you got into crypto. I've seen you with the shirts, the HODL shirts and everything. But how did you get your wife and kids to sign up onto this?
You know what it is? I experienced a lot of stuff in life, and one of the things was losing my father when he was 60, losing my mother when she was 48. So I understood that the living life part was more important than the accumulating of wealth. And we wanted to lead by example for our children to show them that life should be about accumulating happiness instead of accumulating health. And that led all up to the decisions we made. We all were already wanting to be minimalistic, traveling the world, exploring the world, instead of running the hamster wheel 24/7 in a system that we didn't want to support. We wanted to support the decentralization of the world and the decentralization of money in the form of Bitcoin and many other cryptocurrencies. So for us, it was just a natural step in our life that we needed to take to stay happy.
So what have you done? I love that, by the way. So what have you done since 2017? Where have you gone? How do the kids like it? Are they going to school? How do you manage a family life on the go like that?
It's like we since 2017 we traveled over 42 countries at the moment. Whole Asia, South America, Europe. We went to Australia. We just enjoyed life and spreaded the word of Bitcoin. Everywhere I come, I try to spend my Bitcoins. We already don't have bank accounts now since 2018. So that's already 4 years that we don't have bank accounts. And so we need to spend our Bitcoins. And that to do that, we need to convince some people. So we just travel, talk to people, try to spend Bitcoins, try to educate. Of course, we also earn Bitcoins by YouTubing and all that stuff. And most of our profits we share with poor people. So we support a lot of charities, and that's what exactly makes us happy as a family at the moment.
You don't have any bank accounts, so are you relying on crypto apps to convert to local currencies, that kind of thing?
It depends. In the beginning, it was a lot of local Bitcoins. Then there was no KYC yet on local Bitcoins. You could do really nice OTC deals. That was not the most safe way to do it, but that was the only way in the beginning. And now, of course, you have all the debit cards, crypto.com, and you can all name them. You can use them, but we have been proving now for 4 years you don't need a bank anymore. It's not necessary. You can pay everything with cryptocurrencies.
Are there any hiccups though? Because I imagine it must be difficult. It's difficult to not. There are not Bitcoin ATMs in every country or everywhere that you may be. What are some of the challenges?
The challenges is to educate your children how to work with Bitcoin. For adults, it's easy. You go online and you buy some coupons and you use the coupons to buy groceries or whatever, or you buy your Happy Meal, whatever the kids want. For kids, normally kids grow up with a bank account and then they get allowance, and that allowance they can spend for whatever they need. And I think that is the biggest disadvantage. Our kids don't get an allowance in dollars or euros, only in Bitcoins. So we need to be very creative. As the new forms of banks, the decentralized ones with the debit cards, they are not allowed for kids below 18 years old. And my oldest daughter is 16, the second one 14, and the youngest one 11. So that is a little bit difficult. How do you manage your kids to need to spend their money in a shopping mall? And but we always find solutions.
Okay, so I imagine that you have to find solutions. You have to be resourceful about working your local Bitcoin connections. I don't know how you manage to convert in local currencies consistently.
It's so easy. It's so easy.
Is it?
It's like everywhere in the world you have OTC dealers. You just go into the social media groups, you ask an OTC dealer, you connect to the dealer, you drink a coffee, and you give him your Bitcoins, and he gives you the cash and from that currency of that country, and you can spend cash if you want. But that's the easy way. I try to find the hard way. I want to spend Bitcoin. I want to support the whole Bitcoin revolution. I want to support the miners, the community, and I think the only way is by spending it as well.
And what's been the easiest country to do all this in terms of, you've traveled the world? Do you find, what are some of the easier countries to travel in living on Bitcoin versus some of the most difficult ones?
I think Asia is a little bit more easy than Europe. Thailand, for example, I could spend like all my life almost on Bitcoins there. Mexico, we just came from 4 months of Mexico. Mexico was very easy to spend my Bitcoins. Restaurants are accepting Bitcoins, hotels accepting Bitcoins. I convinced a real estate agent in Playa.com, and who now has like more than 200 houses for rent and for sale for Bitcoin. So I think those two countries, Mexico and Portugal as well, are really easy countries to live on cryptocurrency. And then there are these small towns in the world like Rovereto in Italy, which is amazing. There's more than 40 shops that accept Bitcoin direct payments. And then you have Slovenia, Ljubljana, which is the capital of Slovenia, and there they accept like Bitcoins in over than 400 stores. So you could buy like 99% of the needs directly with Bitcoins in Ljubljana, Slovenia. Really, really awesome. Yeah.
That's really cool. Well, since you don't really live anywhere, you don't really pay taxes anywhere. Is that another added
So
benefit?
we are digital nomads, so we travel. We are registered as homeless people in the Netherlands, and if we need to pay tax, we pay tax in the Netherlands at the moment, and that's capital gain tax, which is 1.3% on cryptocurrency, which is not a lot of tax. Now we are going through the whole program in Portugal. We now just registered in Portugal because Portugal has a 0% tax on Bitcoin. So if we want to cash our Bitcoins during this bull run, then Portugal would be the place to cash out the Bitcoins.
Yeah, interesting. I'm curious, when you sold your house and all your belongings, how much was it worth back then?
We never gave price how much it exactly was, but it was a few $100,000. A few
Okay.
$100,000, sorry.
So
Yeah.
are you able to share how much it's worth now compared to back then?
Yeah, it's a decent amount, but we are not in it to become millionaires. We're doing good, but we believe in energy. We give away a lot to charities. We build the schools. We build orphanages. We do share our capital, and when you give, you get back. And um, yeah, I don't plan for the future. I'm not sitting on a bag of billions to wait till I'm 60 to spend them. I live life now to the fullest. That is how we lead by example for the kids. You need to live life now, not when you're 25, 40, 50 now. So you spend your Bitcoins. But again, we are doing good. We are filming a documentary with a huge company, one of the three biggest in the world. And in that documentary, we will be disclosing exactly the amount of Bitcoins and everything else. But till that point, yeah,
Are
people
you
just need to keep
concerned at
guessing.
all about security? In terms of where do you store your crypto? I understand you rely mostly on cold wallets, and in terms of where do you store it, and are you ever concerned with your own personal security being your own bank?
No, it's like we don't live in fear. We chose to take these steps in life because we were sick of the life we were living. And we chose to never live in fear again. And we want to live to the fullest. And if you live in fear, you destroy all the dreams that you should be chasing. And that is why we decide not to live in fear. Like 70% of our Bitcoins is in, sorry for all the noise, that's the kids shouting.
Oh no, that's great.
Um,
It's the crypto
it's-
lifestyle.
it's- yeah, 70% of our crypto is in hardware wallets, and that is very safe. It's cold storage. About 30% is in hot storage, which is that we use to trade, to stake. I have bots trading, and I do some investments in small crypto startups. So, we just diversify our portfolio so that we don't feel unsafe. If they want to rob us, we are not as rich as Elon Musk or one of the other billionaires. They should be robbing those people, and not people like us that build schools and help poor people all over the world. So, nah, no fear there.
So you're known for putting it all in Bitcoin, but I understand you also, as you mentioned, you have some ETH, you have some Litecoin. Are there other coins you're into? What's the next big thing? Are you into DeFi?
Yeah, of course, I'm into DeFi. It's not that I day
NFTs?
trade anymore. So NFTs, I have a lot of NFTs. I'm investing in NFT companies. One of the newest one I'm looking into now is Niftify, for example. It's a startup project, but they are doing really well with onboarding famous people that will launch their NFTs over there. So I just keep an eye on the market, and I mainly invest in those projects that provide a solution for something in the future that we will run into with blockchain. Like last year in January, February, I started to invest in Polkadot and Chainlink because they were providing the solution to get offline data into the blockchain to connect the data. And then yes, in a year time, this industry will be growing. There needs to be data that is offline in Access or SQL databases that needs to be transformed into blockchain databases. So which company is going to solve that problem? So I thought Chainlink, Polkadot, all these kinds. And then you invest in these startups. So I'm not like, I don't invest in pump coins, but I invest in projects that really provide solutions for the future. So I'm always looking a few years ahead. What problems will we run into? Which projects are solving that problem?
Interesting. And I'm just curious because you have a family. Do you homeschool your kids? Or do they go to schools in local areas wherever you travel?
We started with unschooling because we were not like happy with the schooling system because we had the feeling that they were being prepared for the past. We want to prepare the kids for the future. So we started with unschooling to de-stress them from the normal schooling system. And then we went into homeschooling. And now we combine homeschooling with online schooling by a school called Galileo. It's built by digital nomads for digital nomads, where the kids check in every day and have a 30-minute lessons or guide lessons by teachers that help them to understand stuff that I don't understand. If they have questions about the stars, or if they have questions about goats, whatever, they can go to a teacher.
Sure.
If they have questions about Bitcoins, they can come to me.
Well, it's truly fascinating to see you truly live the Bitcoin digital nomad lifestyle, Didi. Appreciate you coming onto the show, and great checking in with you and your family.
Thank you so much for having me. That's why I'm wearing this shirt, to be or not to be. That's what it's all about in Bitcoin. It's about to be or not to be. And I think that more people should, live their life like they want to and not like they're told to do. But that's another discussion. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Didi. All right, that was Didi Tehutu with his wonderful, happy, traveling jet set Bitcoin family. Great to have him on. That's it for All About Bitcoin. I'm your host, Christine Lee. Join us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. in New York for First Mover, your first look at the day's global crypto news headlines. You're watching CoinDesk TV.